Hello everyone and welcome to our English courses series. Our first course will tackle mainly the use of the infinitive and gerund, their forms, use and exceptions. I want to draw your attention that this course is addressed to the students of the second year of the baccalaureate. However, anybody interested in learning English can watch this video. Before we dive into our subject, we first have to get familiar with some terms that will make it easy for us to follow this lesson. Let's start with the infinitive. Types of infinitive. The infinitive form of a verb is the verb in its basic form with or without the particle to. It's the version of the verb that appears in the dictionary, for example. So we have two types of the infinitive, two forms. We have the full infinitive or the to infinitive, like to talk, to sleep, to have, to think, to get, to do. And in the other hand, we have the bare infinitive, which means that we omit the particle to, we delete it, and we keep just the basic form of the verb, like talk, sleep, have, think, get, do. So this is the form of the bare infinitive. Another major point about using the infinitive is that its form never changes. You will never use it with a conjugation or suffix. As with other verbs, you never add on endings like ing or ed. It's only ever used in the infinitive. Now let's move to the second slide about gerund. Gerunds are words that are formed with verbs plus ing. So the form verb plus ing. We use the gerund after certain verbs, so you can look in the internet about these certain verbs that can be used as gerund. In this example, we have I enjoy singing. So singing here functions as the object of the verb enjoy. Also, we can use it after prepositions. The example we have here, I drank a cup of coffee before leaving. So the preposition here is before. As the subject or object of a sentence, our example, swimming is good exercise. So swimming here is a gerund, but it functions as the subject because it comes in the initial position in this sentence. As you can see in this slide, these examples of or this list of verbs that we have here, in English language we have different verbs that can be used in different ways. For instance, the first examples we have here, agree, ask, accept, etc., they can be used or should be used with plus to plus verb, which means that you can add the infinitive or the full infinitive after these verbs. The second list we have here, admit, avoid, dislike. They should be followed by verb plus ing, or in other words, they can be followed by the gerund. And the third type we have of these verbs, like begin, continue, like, love. So when you form a sentence with these verbs, you can either use it with the verb plus ing, or you can use it with the full infinitive. And there are some verbs also that you can use it with bare infinitive. Later on in this presentation, I can give you some of these examples, some of the verbs that you can use without the particle to, which means you can use it with the bare infinitive. I want to have your attention to study some examples for the first category, which means the verbs that can be followed by the full infinitive. The first example we have here in this slide, the bank has agreed to lend me the money. Agreed, so the verb agree that belongs to the first category should be followed by to infinitive. To lend is the full infinitive. The second example, you should ask your accountant to give you some financial advice. So the verb ask followed by to give. This is the full infinitive. He didn't expect to see me. The verb expect followed by to see. To see is the full infinitive. I only just managed to finish on time. Manage to finish. To finish is the full infinitive. He attempts to escape through a window. He attempts to escape. So to escape is the full infinitive, and we cannot say he attempts escape through a window. So we need to add a particle to. Otherwise, it would be a mistake. I'm learning to play the piano. I'm learning to play the piano. So the verb learn, and here it is in the present continuous form. I'm learning. To play the piano, so to play is the full infinitive. I need to go to the airport. We cannot say I need go to the airport. Otherwise, it will be a mistake. So we need to say I need to go. He neglected to mention my name. He neglected to mention my name. And bear in your mind that to here, it's not a preposition, but it's a particle. It belongs to the verb mention. It's part of it. I hope to finish my homework at 9 p.m. I hope to finish, and we cannot say I hope finish. The second category is the verbs that can be used or followed by the gerund, verb plus ing. The first verb is admit. So let's see the example using the verb admit. She admitted making a mistake. Admitted here is in the past. Making a mistake. So it is followed by making, and making is a gerund. I avoid going shopping on Saturdays. So gerund is going. I avoid what? It's like we answered this question. I avoid what? I avoid going shopping on Saturdays. The verb dislike. I dislike walking and I hate the countryside. I dislike walking, so I dislike what? So the gerund here, walking, functions as the object of the verb dislike. I consider selling the house. I consider selling the house. Selling is the gerund. The base verb, the base form is to sell. So we put it here as gerund because it should be used as a gerund with the verb consider. So please stick to this list of verbs, and you can also look for other verbs in internet or in some books, and you can get an exhaustive list of these verbs that you can use with the gerund. I enjoy traveling with my friends. You need to finish talking about this issue. To finish talking. Talking is the gerund. The base form of the verb is to talk. I suggested putting the matter to the committee. I suggested putting the matter to the committee. Putting is gerund. I remember giving you a copy of this book. I remember, and we cannot say I remember to give you a copy of this book. So you have to say I remember giving you a copy of this book. The third category of the verbs that we are studying in this presentation are the verbs that are flexible, which means that you can use with the full infinitive and with the gerund. It depends on you. The list we have here in this slide, I can mention about a few. Begin, continue, like, love, try, start. Let's have a look at some of these examples. Jane just begins learning to drive. The verb begin is used with the gerund learning, so we can also use it with the full infinitive. Jane just begins to learn to drive. Begins followed by the full infinitive to learn. The second example, he continues to play even he is tired. He continues to play. And also we can say he continues playing even he is tired. Continues playing. The verb continue is followed by the gerund playing. I like to swim with the to infinitive. I like swimming with gerund. You just pretend to be interested. So the verb pretend is used with full infinitive to be. And also you can say you just pretend being interested. Pretend is followed by the gerund being. In using the gerund, you have to pay attention to some spelling rules, especially in writing. ing spelling rule. When using the gerund, especially in writing, you have to pay attention to the following rules. To understand these rules, look at the last three letters of the base verb. So before we shift to this, I want to draw your attention to the difference between the vowels and the consonants. So the V stands for vowel and C stands for consonant. As you may know, the vowels are the following: A, E, I, O, U. And the rest of the letters are consonants like B, C, D, F, C, and so on. CVC rule. CVC stands for consonant, vowel, consonant. So please pay attention to this rule. If a word ends with only one vowel followed by a consonant, we usually double the consonant. That happens in writing. So the bare infinitive sit, if we want to add the ing, it's obligatory for us to add or to double the letter T that comes at the end of the word or at the end of the verb. So as you may notice here, the letter T is doubled, sitting. So we have double T instead of one T. The second example is nap, to have a nap or to nap. Nap, the verb or the bare infinitive nap, its gerund is formed as the following: napping with double P, because it is governed by the CVC rule. We have at the end of the verb the vowel A plus the consonant P. In this case, we have to double the letter P. Forget. Forget also ends with ET, vowel, consonant. And before the vowel, we have the consonant G. To form the gerund for this bare infinitive, we have to double the letter T, and the result is forgetting with double T. There are a few exceptions, such as words that end in W, X, and Y, and longer words where the emphasis is not on the final syllable, the emphasis or the stress. When you stress in terms of tone or pitch, when you stress on a syllable, so that means the emphasis. The first example we have here, the number, the bare infinitive number. Full infinitive is to number. To form the gerund, we don't have to double the final consonant, which is R in this case. So we have just one letter R, numbering. Visit, the gerund is visiting, just with one letter T. The last example, to remember. I remember, to remember. The gerund is formed as the following: remembering, without doubling the final consonant. As for the exceptions for the ing spelling rule, we have two major exceptions. The verb to lie. Don't lie to me. It's not good to lie to people. You have to tell them the truth. So that's the meaning of this verb to lie. When forming the gerund, you have to replace the letter I with Y and to delete the letter E and place it with ing. And the result is the following: lying. The final example is die. To die. It's the same example, the same rule. You have to replace the letter I, the vowel I, with Y and plus ing. You can do this exercise after understanding all the rules we saw just now in this video. So you have 5 minutes to think of the following exercise, and I took as a reference for this exercise the book of Gateway 2 to English, which is programmed for the students of the second year of the baccalaureate. So the exercise D, page 17. Take your time and try to come up with the answers for this question. At the end of this video, you will have the exact answers, and just for your practice, you can also seek for or look for other exercises in internet, and you can share any question or any comment under this video, and you can give your feedback also about the way I explained to you the use of the infinitive and the gerund. Thank you so much for watching, and see you later.